What's going on, everybody? I'm Yuja, and in this video today I'm going to show you guys how to recreate NASKO'S Serum FX hybrid rack so you guys can create instant growls in Ableton Live. This rack contains also NASKO'S meat rack, which he showed off in a previous live stream. I acquired that off of another YouTuber's video in which he recreated that, so I'm going to put a link in the video description if you guys want to go check that out, and I'm also going to put a link to download this rack if you guys want to skip all this stuff. But I'm just going to go over the rack really quick, just kind of go over what's going on over here. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so what we have here is we have a Serum pulled up, and then we already have the rack pulled up. But for the sake of just recreating everything, I'm just going to delete these, all these, the two Serum FX tracks and the Vocoder track. What's left is the meat rack and then this OTT with these settings and the glute compressor. Now this is just to beef everything up towards the end. It would sound like crap if you know, I was going to show you guys how to make this without this on at the end. It would just pretty much sound like garbage until I put this on at the end. So we're just gonna leave that on, and we're gonna start trying to make this rack. So let's pop in a Serum FX. We're only gonna pop in one, but we're gonna use two because I'm gonna duplicate this one later. Now before we actually get into making the rack, let me just show you in Serum right here, in the actual Serum, not the Serum FX, I have just a massive wavetable loaded up, and I have an LFO on. I have the warp mode set to bend plus minus with an LFO on it, and then I also have this filter with flange plus mode on, and I have the LFO modulating the cutoff resonance in the mix of that filter. So this is what it sounds like without the effects or the rack. So let's just turn the filter off, and we'll remove this modulator real quick. So we just get the plain wavetable because it's going to be easier to hear what's going on. There's not going to be like other movement kind of messing us up in the meantime. But yeah, so the first thing we're going to want to do is turn on a filter and set it to MG low 12, and then this is where we're going to put an LFO on this cutoff right here. So let's see, let's make this LFO do this, because this is what it did in NASKO'S video. So just for the sake of replicating it, pretty much did something like that. I don't know, something weird like that. All right, and then we set the rate to a half notes, and we're going to modulate the cutoff and the resonance with this, and we're going to set it to about there. Now you're not going to hear the LFO move at all, right? So if you want the LFO to actually do anything in Serum FX, you have to turn note latch on. And sometimes it doesn't work if you turn it on and then you apply the LFO. Sometimes it doesn't run the LFO in the background still, so you might just have to turn it on and turn it back on. But now we have movement. Okay, so this is cool, but there's a problem because this is just running in the background. I want it to happen I want it to trigger every time I press the MIDI note. So one way you can do this in Serum FX is you can create two new MIDI tracks, Shift Command M, and then we're going to move these right up here. And what we do is we set the output to Serum. Because this is a blank MIDI track, it's going to send the MIDI track to Serum, but we want it to send to Serum FX. We only have one Serum FX on right now, so we're going to do this, just like that. Send it to one Serum FX. Now this one is going to be for the other Serum FX once we add it in. So, but now instead of having note latch on, we can turn that off and go into trigger. Actually, you still need note latch on, I think. Oh, my bad. No, you need note latch off, and then you need to record and enable the MIDI track in order for it to send the MIDI. So now you don't need note latch on, and now every time I trigger the MIDI note, the LFO triggers, as you can see right here. This is in Serum FX, the FX version right here. So now we have Serum FX triggering every time I press the MIDI. We're going to duplicate that, and then the second MIDI track that we also have record enabled, we're going to send to 3 Serum. Now you're going to see a bunch of Serum FXs here. So you have 1 through 16 Serum, 1 through 16 Serum FX, and then 1 through 16 Serum FX. So we're going to do on the second one 1 Serum FX, because on this one you see we're in the middle. We got 1 Serum FX here. This one, we're on the second 1 Serum FX. So it's kind of confusing. If you want, you can rename them too in here, and then like it'll show up in here as a different thing. So, but yeah, that's that. And in this second Serum FX, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up, and we can keep the same LFO on it, and we're going to let's see, let's remove the modulators from these guys right here, and we're going to turn this on to Format 3. Put the cutoff around here-ish. Resonance here is good. The drive should be up a little bit, and then we're going to turn Format up like that, and we're going to put LFO 1 on that, and then we're going to make it go downwards just a little bit, from maybe a little bit under halfway to maybe towards somewhere closer to a quarter of the way. Okay, so obviously we don't have our meat rack and stuff on, so it's a little quiet, but now here's what it sounds like. Now that's with the 2 Serum FX. Without the Serum FX, it sounds like this. So we're already getting some cool movement. Let's see, we're going to now let's turn on this compressor up here, put the filter under it, and then we're going to turn on our distortion and turn that drive up a little bit, and then we're gonna pop that LFO in the drive, just like that. And then this last part is probably one of the more important parts. We're going to have 2 notch filters, or notches on the EQ, kind of moving towards each other to create a vowel-y type sound. So you have LFO 1 on the frequency going up on one and going down on the other, and then we crank it on the gain, make sure it's unipolar. Okay, so now let's... Woo! So now you can start to see the knobs that you're going to want to be messing around with. It's definitely screw around with the formant, the range on the formant, screw around with these 2 notches on the EQ. You can even go back here and then screw around with the cutoff on this low pass filter. Even the resonance would work too. So those are really cool ways to get different vowels out of that. And then the last thing we're gonna do right before is pop on this vocoder, and we're gonna make sure it's on modulator mode, because that's really important. It basically feeds the signal back into itself. So you're using the vocoder it's taking the source sound and modulating and vocoding itself. So it's kind of cool. We can mess around with the depth and the format here. Turn enhance on maybe. There we go. That's pretty cool. And then one thing we can do now at this point is we can start popping the LFO on the bend plus and minus, and then turn it on that flange filter where it's on the cutoff, resonance, and mix. So that's pretty cool. There's some interesting, crazy growls that you can get out of this just by switching the wavetable. The filter might be a little bit too intense. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy. You can go crazy with this. You could resample it. We could just create a new track right here. after we group these guys, and then we can take the audio from one group and then also record enable just by shift clicking. Oh, you got to shift click all those guys. Oops. I guess you can't record enable outside of a group. Oh, there you go. Got a command. I command clicked the record button on all of those. That's what ended up working. Sometimes if you shift click all of them and record, it works, but I guess since it's out of a group, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, then we can just like set up a little thing here, and then just click record. Alternatively, you could just like, set up the MIDI and then record that. But yeah, there you go. So that's how you create NASKO'S, growl rack. We're going to just pop this in the rack and we can save it as NASKO'S growl rack. Whoops. Shift click all these guys, drag them into this rack, and then we'll save this as NASKO. Oh, let's see. Yeah, NASKO hybrid rack. That's what it was. All right. So there you go. I hope this inspires you guys to go make your own growls and stuff and see what you can do with this rack. Go check out NASKO'S videos. I'm going to link that live stream in the description as well. You can download this rack, and you can also go check out the meat rack from that other YouTuber. It's great. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been Yuja, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.